Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is probably going to be a much shorter video than my usual daily recaps are, just because of the sheer fact of that there were only 2 games played yesterday instead of the standard 4, because the Celtics, Sixers, and Raptors Nets series ended up in sweeps. So, yep, the only 2 games to talk about are the Nuggets Jazz and Mavs Clips, but we also had some news come out yesterday that I want to talk about, and that is that Giannis won the Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's very well deserving. He's the best defensive player on the best defensive team, one of the best defensive teams ever, and he just as someone who watches pretty much every single Bucks game, he just does so much for this defense. He's good on ball, but that's not really where his value lies. It's more off the ball, where he is good at contesting shots, but really he's just got those long arms. He gets in passing lanes. He does a great job suffocating people on help defense, and I think that he was deserving of this award. I actually thought that Rudy Gobert deserved it up until he had some struggles in the last month or so before the restart. But yeah, I think they gave it to the right guy, and congratulations to Giannis on his first Defensive Player of the Year. First game of the day yesterday was Nuggets Jazz. This series has been a lot of fun so far, and yesterday certainly did not disappoint. Jokic started off the game with a huge first quarter. He had 21 points in the first quarter alone. Finished the game with 31 on 12 for 19 shooting, but what I really want to talk about is his pick and pop game. Yesterday he went 7 for 11 from the three-point line, which is just incredible. And overall, both teams yesterday, I think it was revealed that drop coverage has a lot of weaknesses and a lot of problems with it. It was showed yesterday with Jokic in the screen and pick and pop, because Gobert is obviously playing safety and dropping back on every screen, and that left Jokic open to knock down some open triples, and knock them down he did. So that might be an adjustment Quinn Snyder needs to make. Maybe it's the guy who is guarding whoever's in the corner needs to come up and flash toward Jokic so that he doesn't take the shot, give Gobert some time to recover, and then get back to his guy on the corner. Maybe it's the guy guarding the ball handler needs to switch on to Gobert or Jokic for a second, and then quickly switch back as Gobert recovers. Maybe it's just switching, because Rudy can move his feet pretty well. So, I mean, Jamal Murray's been lethal in this series regardless of who's guarding him. So, there's a couple different possibilities in which they can improve this, but the Nuggets pick and roll defense on that Donovan Mitchell as the ball handler pick and roll looks very, very difficult to stop, especially because of the lack of perimeter defenders that the Jazz have. I think something that came into my head was they could try putting Jeremy Grant on Gobert so that they could just kind of switch everything on those pick and rolls, but then you've got Jokic guarding Royce O'Neal, which maybe isn't the worst possibility, so that could be something they could try. They could have Jokic just hit a hard hedge so Donovan can't take those pull-ups, but even when he had open pull-up jumpers, he wasn't taking them. He was getting to the rim, drawing contact and getting to the foul line, or just finishing tough shots. He had another big game yesterday with 30 points, and I really just think that the Jazz have more perimeter threats than the Nuggets do capable perimeter defenders. I mean, you've got Ingles, O'Neal, Clarkson, Conley, and Mitchell all going for double-digit scoring, led by Donovan with 30. And how many capable perimeter defenders do the Nuggets have? I mean, Jeremy Grant and Torrey Craig, that's 2. And sometimes I guess most of the time actually, the Jazz have 4 of those 5 guys out there with Gobert. So that means that a lot of the time, the Nuggets are matching up Michael Porter Jr. or Monte Morris or Jamal Murray with one of those guys. So that's where they're feeling this Gary Harris loss. And I know that offensively he's been pretty atrocious for them this season, but they really need his defense back because that has the potential to be a difference maker in this series. I'm not sure about what his timetable is, but they need him back as soon as possible because he's just that lockdown perimeter defender that it feels like they've been missing. Donovan Mitchell was guarding Jamal Murray down the stretch, and it didn't look great. There were a couple times where Jamal hit him with kind of a ball fake, got him going towards the rim, and then Jamal did a step back, and Donovan didn't even make an effort to close out on the step back. So I like Royce O'Neal on him better, but Royce has his own struggles. I think Royce is a really, really good perimeter defender. But one little problem I have with him is when Murray had momentum, his foot speed wasn't the best. And I definitely think that that could be a little troubling against the Clippers or Mavs because he's going to be matched up with Kawhi or Luka, and those are two very, very difficult matchups. So I'd like to see a little bit more out of Royce O'Neal on the defensive end, and especially see his foot speed pick up a little bit. Like I said, the Nuggets really need to figure out their matchups. I think Torrey Craig and Jeremy Grant can both guard Donovan Mitchell. It just depends which one they want on him, so probably Craig. Although Torrey Craig's not even starting, so Jeremy Grant has been starting off on him, so there's a lot of things with this team that are confusing. I feel so bad for their coach because, as Zach Lowe said on the Low Post yesterday, it's kind of like, you guard this guy. Oh, you can't guard him? Okay, now guard this guy. You can't guard him? Oh, man, guard this guy now. And they just need somebody to step up and show that they're a capable perimeter defender. Yeah, Jamal Murray just had a huge second half. He played all 24 minutes, and he had 33 points in the second half alone. I think he had 41 total. So just another huge game from the 42 total. Just another big game for Jamal Murray. He was 17 for 26 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3. And he's just shown that he's one of the better late game closers in the entire NBA this playoffs. And it feels like he doesn't miss in the fourth quarter. And he's a special player. And he's got top 20 potential, and the Nuggets need him to reach that potential. Excuse me. If they are going to reach their championship ceiling at any time in the next 5 years. And Michael Porter Jr. actually kind of got going. His defense is still really bad, but scoring the ball, he was better than he has been in the rest of the series. He had 15 and 5 on 5 for 11 shooting, 3 for 7 from the three-point line. And those are more the type of games that they need from him instead of like 6 points, 9 points, 15 to 20. That's much more where they need his scoring to be for them to have a chance to beat the Jazz, especially if they are not playing any defense and the Jazz are scoring 120 points per game. They just need a bit more on the offensive end then. And they're capable of it. This team has bucket getters, but Michael Porter Jr. hasn't been playing well, so hopefully yesterday is a sign of a bounce-back game for him. But I'm looking forward to Game 6 on Thursday, and this has definitely been the most entertaining series for me, outside of maybe Mavs Clips, but we'll get to that one right now. And yesterday, it was not a very entertaining game. I actually went to bed at halftime because I was tired and it wasn't close. Dorian Finney-Smith came out on Kawhi, which is something that I thought would be good. It really wasn't good. Pretty similar to results as Kawhi's had the whole series. 32 and 7, 12 for 19 shooting, 6 for 11 from the foul line. And he did not knock down those free throws as he has the rest of the series, which is a little concerning. I don't know what was going on. Luka also missed 5 free throws yesterday, so maybe it was just free throw-itis was going around or something. I don't know, but that's definitely something that I'm not worried about because Kawhi obviously is a great free throw shooter, shoots about 86% in the regular season, so Pat Bev and KP were both still out. That's going to hurt both teams, but definitely hurts the Mavericks more. They need Porzingis. He's their rim protector and scores a lot of points for them on the offensive end. Also gives them more depth. They don't have to dig so far deep into their bench. So hopefully those two are both back for Game 6, but especially Kristaps, because not having him is a real game changer for the Mavs. Luka, I think the area he's improved the most this season is just in the paint. Like last year he was great, but this year he's obviously taken his game to another level. And that's mostly because of his ability to finish in the paint. When he gets in there, he's got a plethora of moves, a myriad of moves that he can go to and finishes. And he's got counter moves to those moves. So if they contest that well, then he'll throw something else at you. And it's just very hard to stop. Sometimes you see this guy play, and it's just unbelievable how great of a scorer he is, considering he's not very quick. Most of his stuff is just changing speeds. But yeah, we all know how great Luka is at this point. I think that Paul George definitely came out aggressive yesterday and said, no more of this trash talk about me. I am a top 15 player, and I will show that to you right now. He finished with 35 points, 12 for 18 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, 7 for 7 from the line. Great efficiency. Just a great game for Paul George. I've been saying it all along. He's too good a player to keep playing like this, and he finally proved me right, which is good because I was getting nervous. I said that after the first game he played bad, and then he played 2 more games poorly. So finally he bounces back. That was a big part of why the Clippers won. Instead of it being like Game 4, where Porzingis was out and Paul George was invisible, so both teams pretty much, it was just Kawhi versus Luka in terms of stars. In this game, Paul George played well and Kristaps was still out. So it was 2 stars against 1, and that was simply too much for the Mavs. The Mavs had some turnover troubles in the first quarter, 7, but they cleaned it up a bit. The rest of the game finished with 15, so almost had more first quarter turnovers than they did the rest of the game. A couple days ago, I talked about Matt Thomas and his counter move to when people have a really good closeout on his three-pointer, where he does a ball fake, 2 dribbles, bank shot off the glass. Seth Curry has got that too as a shooting specialist. When people over anticipate the 3 and close out too hard, he gets around them, and he's got one of the better floater games that I've seen in the entire NBA. And that's important because, like I said, these shooters need to find other ways to score. And Seth has got that in his floater. And it's a good shot for him. Obviously, it's not the most efficient shot in general, but he looks good. It's a good move for him, and he's knocking him down. That's all I have to talk about from that game. Like I said, I only watched the first half because I was just really, really tired. Had a tough workout at cross-country practice yesterday, but yeah. Cavaliers off-season preview will be coming out later today, and ladies and gentlemen, that's all for me, and we will see you again very soon.